Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are yet again meeting with another episode of Art 1-to-1. Event production is no strange industry to Sri Lanka with its long past. However, today more than any era in the past, event production is being widely talked about. And Kashyapa Events is one of the esteemed organizations that is involved in event production. Today we have with us in the studio Mr. Lahiru Krishan, who is the Director of Events at Kashyapa Events. Good evening, Lahiru.
Very good evening.
And Lahiru, we have to talk more about events, but let's begin by discussing about Kashyapa Events. Can you give us a brief explanation how long the company has been involved in event production in Sri Lanka?
Well, Kashyapa Film Theatre and Lighting, we started off back in 1982, founded by Mr. Kashyapa Gunaratna, one of the main pioneers in the event production in Sri Lanka. So he's one of the well-respected men in the industry. So the whole concept of film theatre and lighting has changed recently. So I took over the management 3 months back, and we have done a rebranding process. So it goes as Kashyapa Events now, because we are more specialized in events, specialized in fashion shows, live shows, exhibition management, so and so. So currently we are based in Navala, and yeah.
So you said that 3 decades back, the company originally started as film theatre and lighting company,
Yeah.
and now suddenly there's a brand change. Can you explain to us the thought process or the reason behind the brand change that you have occurred?
Yeah. When it's come to film theatre and lighting, often you have been controlled by a art director or third party person. But when it's come to events, we have the ability to communicate with the client directly, and we have the ability to showcase our uniqueness. So rather than working under someone, doesn't mean that we don't do film sets anymore, but we are more focused on events.
So Lahiru, can you explain to us some of the major events that you have organized in the past few years?
Yeah, we have done a lot actually, but if I talk about the major events, we have involved in Colombo Fashion Week, IFA Colombo, T20 World Cup, and we have been continuously doing the Mr. and Mrs. Sri Lanka and Sumati Awards, Slim Awards, yeah.
Wow, those are some big events. And Lahiru, among all these events, what would you say was the most impacting event that you have done?
Well, the most impacting event, a good question. I would say it's not the biggest event that we have done, but we have done this wedding setup at Mount Lavinia Beach. The whole idea was to create a huge ship and done the wedding arrangement on the deck. So comparing to practical difficulties and the limited time frame that we had, the output was really satisfying. Yeah.
So Lahiru, event organization and event production has become a very complex industry today. There are a lot of competitors in the field, and the process has become very complex. So in this context, how do you differentiate your organization from the rest?
Indeed, it's a very tough job. When it's come to client, they have very extraordinary high expectations with limited time frame and limited budget, which is a very tough job. But we always try to understand their priorities, and we always try to deliver what they expect without compromising the quality as per their budget, which is an important aspect, I think. And talking about competition, yes, there are a lot of people and a lot of companies who do events and production these days. But when it's come to us, we, as I said earlier, like we have the experience which spans more than 3 decades. And plus, the one of our main pillar of success is we do the design, production and execution, all 3 in-house, which most of them fail to do. Most of the people who plan the events, they are failed to do the production in-house. So we have 2 separate teams for designing and technical aspects, plus we have a well-experienced production team for lighting and setup separately.
So Lahiru, I understand the process is very complex and the demands from the clients are very high, but what would you say the single most important thing in organizing an event?
Well, for me personally, I have been working in this industry for more than 10 years now. I think everything is equally important, because starting from a small piece of tissue, starting to the production, to execution, to AV, everything is equally important, because end of the day, you are putting your reputation on the line, and people expect you to be beyond perfection.
So from a client's point of view, would you say there are difficulties, or is the industry mature enough to cater to all the demands of the clients? Or from a client's point of view, what do they expect as per your experience, and what is lacking in the industry today to serve the clients better?
Well, talking about clients, they simply expect everything. I mean, they want us to manage everything, starting from top to bottom. Basically, what they expect from a event company is that, you know, they want to minimize their stress, obviously, and they want us to manage everything on behalf of them. So it's a complex process, but it's fun actually. It's fun. You're meeting a lot of people, and you have the ability to showcase a lot of things through events. So yeah.
Lahiru, would you like to name a few events that are upcoming which are organized by your company?
Well, we are planning the Mr. Sri Lanka Grand Finale, which is on first week of June, and we are planning the annual Ball for Oriflame as well, which is a 3-day event in Valigama.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Lahiru, also concluding our program, is there any message that you would like to leave with the aspiring event organizing companies who are budding up in Sri Lanka today?
Well, I would say always dream big and follow your path. Always try to leave a trademark. Do something unique, you know. Sell dreams, not your product. Rest will follow, and yeah.
Thank you very much, Lahiru. Today we had Lahiru Prashant from Kashyapa Events in the studio today with us for Art 1-to-1. Thank you. It was wonderful to have you, Lahiru. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me in the studio. Thank you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about Kashyapa Events and events in generally in Sri Lanka. We'll do join you again with another episode of Art 1-to-1.